Hello everyone, welcome to the Snow White 2025 channel from Disney. We have been discussing the latest film projects with you for a long time, and today we are talking about a film that has become not only a highly anticipated event, but also a highly scandalous one in the world of cinema. After countless discussions, analyses, and observations of every change and scandal related to this film, it is time to share our personal impressions based on watching it, and the latest information from the internet. Spoilers, friends, right a heads up, if you do not wish to know all the secrets and details, we recommend that you watch the film for yourself. However, for those who have decided to learn our opinion, hold on tight. First spoiler, this is the worst Disney remake I have ever seen. Second spoiler, Rachel Zegler, who plays the main role, although she tried, was unable to embody the image that fans of the classic fairy tale expected. Third spoiler, if Disney continues working in the same spirit, not only total failures, but also huge financial losses await the company. Now let's break everything down step by step. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos and reviews. And also give this video a like if you enjoy our perspective. It really helps us grow and share news with you. First impressions and expectations. The beginning of the film is quite surprising. The opening scene with the beautifully designed fairy tale book creates the impression that we are in for something truly magical. The visuals are rendered using computer graphics, and as many critics have noted, they are quite charming and catch the eye with their detail. Indeed, the introduction to the story reminds one of a children's fairy tale filled with adorable little creatures and elements of classical fairy tale aesthetics, which seemingly should create a positive mood. However, behind this dazzling exterior lies something much more ambiguous. Despite the attractive visuals and the overall atmosphere, as soon as Snow White appears on screen, even before Rachel Zegler takes over the role, the viewer begins to experience an involuntary repulsion. The director's explanation that the name Snow White was given to the heroine not because of her appearance, but because she was born during a snowstorm, does not help to change the habitual perception. We have all grown accustomed to a certain image, and when this image does not match our expectations, an inner protest arises. Perhaps this reflects the modern trends in the film industry, where even classic images are subjected to serious reconstruction. The fate of Snow White. Tragedy and transformation. In the first 10-15 minutes of the film, the viewer is introduced to the heroine's past. We are told about the tragic death of Snow White's mother, and how her father found a new wife. A sinister and charismatic figure played by Gal Gadot. Interestingly, according to the latest data from the internet, Gal Gadot has received a lot of positive reviews for her work, and many note that her appearance is a standout moment in the film, which, although contrasting with the overall atmosphere, definitely deserves special attention. The role of the new wife, the wicked stepmother, completely dominates the screen with her harsh character and dramatic presence. After her confident directive, Snow White's father heads off to fight some senseless battle with the neighbors and soon disappears from the screen, leaving us bewildered. Thus, the town that once shone with joy turns into a gloomy and joyless place where Snow White is reduced to the role of an ordinary servant. At that moment, it becomes clear that the film attempts to follow a stereotypical path, yet it confuses the viewer with its bizarre mix of drama and comedy. Rachel Zegler, playing Snow White, evokes mixed emotions. On the one hand, her performance sometimes surprises with its emotional intensity. But on the other, her facial expressions seem overly forced and even bordering on grimacing. This dissonance between expectations and reality is especially noticeable when recalling the classic image of Snow White that we have all been accustomed to. According to many internet users and critics, if Rachel Zegler hadn't been such a controversial figure and hadn't made so many mistakes over the past year and a half, perhaps she would have been accepted in this role a little more gracefully. Unfortunately, the mismatch between the character's appearance and the expected image remains a significant shortcoming. Gloomy twists and bright moments. The further course of the film takes a sharp turn. A real gloom sets in when the magic mirror solemnly declares that the new version of Snow White is now the most beautiful in the world. At this moment, the Wicked Queen's portrayal by Gal Gadot appears even more striking, charismatic, and impressive, as if she has been given the leading role in this tragicomedy. But don't think that every moment in the film is dramatic. There are plenty of comical episodes that can bring a smile even to the most skeptical viewers. After the mirror's announcement, one of the most absurd moments begins. The evil sorceress orders the huntsman to take Snow White deep into the woods with the intention of killing her. However, at the very last moment, the huntsman, as if overcome with pity, advises the heroine to run as far away as she can. This episode evokes mixed feelings. On the one hand, you want to laugh at the absurdity of the situation, but on the other, you feel sad watching how the classic storyline transforms into a series of disjointed scenes. Like, if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you won't miss our future reviews. Your feedback is very important to us. Dwarfs and secondary characters, disappointment and confusion. Moving on to the other characters, one cannot ignore the dwarfs. Honestly, their appearance is one of the most controversial moments of the film. Imagine this. Instead of using live, charismatic actors, as was done in The Hobbit, we get computer animation, where the dwarfs look completely unnatural. These 7 characters evoke rather disgust than sympathy. Their design seems too primitive and devoid of soul, unlike the classic image that once brought warmth and joy. Interestingly, you can find online discussions where many fans note that Disney clearly did not want to cast real actors for these roles this time. Perhaps the decision was made due to budget constraints or desire to experiment with new technologies, but the result is far from what was expected. Many believe that if real actors had been involved, the dwarfs would have appeared much more lively and organic, as seen in the Hobbit films. Instead, their scenes appear as if they were simply tacked on, adding an impression of incompleteness and slight chaos. It is also worth mentioning the character of the prince, who, instead of being the romantic hero, turns out to be the leader of a group of runaway actor bandits. This group, in the eyes of many online reviewers, looks like a mix of modern hipsters and bumbling vagabonds trying to act in a movie. There is clearly no chemistry between their leader and Snow White. The duo looks so forced that it seems the screenwriters tried to insert a passionate love story but failed to convey genuine emotions. Honestly, it looked as though 2 plastic mannequins were trying to pretend to be in love, a moment that evoked more laughter than sympathy. Final chords and overall summary. At a certain point in the plot, Jonathan gets hit with an arrow meant for Snow White, and the whole company ends up seeking treatment from the dwarfs. This moment turns into a farce, leaving you unable to tell whether you're watching a high-budget project or a production by first-year theater students. It is evident that the film has undergone multiple reshoots, revisions, and compromises which have affected its cohesion. Unlike The Little Mermaid, 2023, which, despite its flaws, managed to create a cohesive narrative, Snow White comes off as a series of disjointed and chaotic fragments. The climax of the film arrives when Jonathan falls into the clutches of the Wicked Queen, and Snow White seemingly dies temporarily. The classic moment when the hero kisses her and she comes back to life appears so unconvincing that even attempts to convey deep emotional turmoil turn into a farce. This emotional turning point fails to evoke any real feelings. Only disappointment and confusion over how such an important scene turned out so mechanical and lifeless. In the film's conclusion, Snow White, dressed in a striking red gown, begins to sing and lead her loyal subjects with fierce determination. This happens so awkwardly that it creates the impression that the directors were trying to force a moral lesson onto the viewer, while all the characters appear frozen and lifeless. Even the Wicked Queen, who previously made such an impressive and charismatic impact, loses her strength, giving way to yet another cliched conflict. For comparison, many online reviews suggest that it might have been better to change the source material and let the evil sorceress truly take center stage. Additional data from the internet and contemporary opinions. Reviews of the film published on popular platforms confirm our conclusions. Critics and viewers are generally negative. Many note that Disney tried to squeeze modern elements into the classic fairy tale, but the result is a product far from what was expected. Some claim that the film resembles an attempt to copy successful projects without the necessary emotional depth, while others believe that the experimental approach of the company simply did not pay off. Several online articles emphasize that the use of computer graphics for characters like the dwarfs is an obvious attempt to modernize the classic fairy tale. However, the outcome leaves much to be desired. In particular, forum discussions often include opinions that live actors are capable of conveying the sincerity and energy that digital counterparts sometimes fail to achieve. If you're interested in such discussions, be sure to check out the review. It is also worth noting a friendly tone and calls to engage. Friends, if you like it, when we speak in a clear and friendly manner, remember, subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. We always appreciate your attention and comments, as they help us create quality and engaging content. Our channel's goal is not only to share the latest news from the world of cinema, but also to create a space for lively discussion, where everyone can express their opinions and learn something new. We are confident that many of you, especially residents of the United States, are accustomed to high-quality film productions and genuine affection for your favorite characters. So if you didn't like this film, be sure to leave a comment. We really value your opinion. And if you believe the film has its merits, tell us about it in the discussions. After all, everyone has the right to their own point of view. Final analysis and conclusions. To sum it up, Snow White 2025 is undoubtedly an ambitious attempt to update the classic fairy tale, but the result fell far short of the majority of viewers' and critics' expectations. Key elements such as reimagining the heroine's image, the use of computer graphics for secondary characters, and the clumsy attempt to incorporate a modern style into an old story raise more questions than answers. Our personal assessment is as follows. Despite all the efforts of the Disney team, the film leaves behind a sense of disappointment and confusion. Had the creators relied on time-tested methods and cast truly talented actors for the roles, the result might have been much more successful. Instead, we received a collection of absurd scenes where even emotional moments appear mechanical, and the attempt to create a heartfelt, touching story turns into a disjointed narrative. Many online reviews suggest that such an approach may lead not only to a critical failure, but also to huge financial losses for the company. After all, when a viewer, accustomed to quality and cohesive stories, is faced with such shortcomings, their trust in the brand begins to wane. Therefore, in the future, we hope that Disney will heed the criticism and return to classic filmmaking methods, preserving the magic of the fairy tale while incorporating modern technology and current ideas. A call for discussion and future expectations. Dear friends, what conclusions did you draw after watching this film? Do you think that Disney went too far this time by trying to experiment with the classics? Or do you have a different opinion? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion is very important to us, and we are always happy to hear your feedback. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new videos where we will dissect the freshest film releases, discuss the latest trends, and share the most interesting facts from the world of entertainment. Give this video a like if you enjoyed our analysis, and tell your friends. Together we can build a true community where every movie lover can share their views and find like-minded individuals. Also, if you want to learn more about how modern technologies affect filmmaking, we recommend checking out the additional materials section where we discuss new trends in visual effects and how modern technology helps bring classic stories to life. According to the latest data from the internet, many experts note that balancing traditional methods with innovative approaches is the key to a successful project. However, as our analysis shows, an excessive focus on digital effects can lead to a loss of soul, which is so crucial for creating a real fairy tale. Observations and conclusions. Looking back at our film, it is evident that many moments feel insufficiently thought out or even chaotic. When recalling how in classic fairy tale versions every element is meticulously arranged, it seems that the screenwriters tried to pack too many new ideas into this film without giving proper attention to the emotional depth of the characters. Even the musical interludes, which could have added dynamism and mood, come off as mechanical and predictable. This is particularly noticeable in the scene where Snow White, surrounded by her subjects, begins to sing while her voice is lost amidst the faceless crowd. According to many cinephiles online, this moment could have become a true anthem for the updated fairy tale if it had been executed with passion and sincerity. It is also worth noting that a comparative analysis with other Disney films, such as The Little Mermaid in 2023, clearly shows a difference in the quality of production. There, despite some shortcomings, a cohesive and memorable work was achieved. Whereas in Snow White 2025, the plot is a series of fragments that do not connect into a single whole. This raises the question, why did the quality suffer so much when so many resources and technologies were involved? The answer may lie in the fact that experiments with updating classic stories always carry a risk, and not every experiment turns out successfully. Modern trends and the future of Disney. Examining the latest news and online discussions, it is evident that Disney's experiments with updated versions of classic fairy tales are sparking plenty of debates. Many fans believe that the company should return to tried and true methods rather than constantly attempting to introduce innovations that sometimes dilute the essence of the story. In this context, Snow White 2025 serves as an example that trying to combine modern technologies with a classic storyline can lead to an unexpectedly negative outcome. Online, there are frequent arguments that live actors and traditional filming methods can better convey the authenticity and energy that digital effects often fail to achieve. Nevertheless, it is impossible not to note that experimentation is an inherent part of the evolution of the film industry. Perhaps in the future, Disney will find the perfect balance between innovative approaches and classic methods, allowing them to create a product that satisfies both longtime fairy tale fans and a new generation of viewers. We will continue to closely follow the news and share fresh updates with you as soon as new information becomes available. If these topics interest you, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to leave a comment. We truly value what you think. Conclusion. In conclusion, Snow White 2025 is an ambitious project that, unfortunately, did not meet the expectations of most viewers and critics. The lack of coherence, insufficient character development, and an excessive reliance on computer graphics have transformed the classic fairy tale into a series of absurd and disjointed scenes, devoid of the magic that has always made Disney fairy tales special. Despite some moments that could have been highlights, for example Gal Gadot's performance, the film as a whole comes off as too fragmented and chaotic, leaving a bitter aftertaste. We hope that future projects from the company will take the lessons from this film into account and strive to create a more cohesive and emotionally engaging work that can delight both longtime fans and new audiences. For now, we can only wait for the film's box office performance and the audience's reviews, which will undoubtedly help to guide Disney's future creative plans. Friends, if you enjoyed our breakdown and want to stay updated on all the latest film news, be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button on this video, and leave a comment. Your feedback means the world to us. Your insights help us improve and create content that is interesting and relevant to you. Thank you for watching until the end, and see you soon in our next video. Stay connected, share your thoughts, and may your love for movies never fade.